65% of all businesses started in America are completely dead within 10 years. Not struggling, not pivoting, dead. And here's what makes that number genuinely shocking. Most of those failures were not caused by bad products, bad timing, or bad luck. They were caused by one single decision made before the business ever opened, the choice of which industry to enter. The data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics is unambiguous. Certain industries kill businesses at catastrophic rates. Others keep them alive for decades. And the industries with the highest survival rates are almost never the ones being promoted in YouTube thumbnails, business podcasts, or entrepreneur content. Nobody is making a viral video about starting a structural pest control company. Nobody is building a brand around medical equipment calibration. Nobody is hyping fractional CFO services on social media. And yet, these are exactly the kinds of businesses where the actual money is. Quiet, unglamorous, deeply functional, generating margins that most trendy startups would collapse trying to reach. Today, I am going to walk you through 20 of them, real numbers, real startup costs, real margins, and the structural reasons why each one survives while the trendy alternatives fail. By the end, you will have a completely different understanding of what a good business actually looks like, and I can almost guarantee it looks nothing like what you were imagining before you clicked. Before we get to the list, we need to understand the mistake. Because the mistake is not stupidity, it is a very specific and very predictable cognitive trap. When most people think about starting a business, they think about what feels exciting, what feels innovative, what sounds impressive at a dinner party. They chase novelty, the next app, the next content brand, the next digital product trend. And the data shows exactly where that instinct leads. Information and software platform businesses have a 5-year survival rate of 44.3%. That means more than half of every digital product startup you can name is gone before its 5th birthday. Professional and technical service firms, consultants, agencies, survive at a rate of 46.3% over 5 years. Now, compare that to what the data actually rewards. Agriculture, forestry, and natural resource businesses survive at a rate of 66.2% over 5 years. Real estate and leasing firms at 58.7%. Manufacturing at 57.7%. Healthcare and social assistance at 55.1%. The pattern is unmistakable. The businesses that survive are not the ones chasing digital trends. They're the ones serving inelastic, non-discretionary demand. The things people cannot stop needing regardless of the economy. The things that have compliance barriers protecting them from a teenager with a laptop undercutting the price. And the financial reality of self-made millionaires in America confirms this completely. Landmark research into actual self-made wealth, not inherited, not lottery won, not startup IPO wealth, consistently finds the same profile. A business owner running something highly practical and low profile, contracting, waste management, local services, specialized consulting. Their average vehicle is a Ford F-150. Their business is not glamorous. Their balance sheet is extraordinary. They prioritize private business equity, which accounts for an average of 21% of millionaire household wealth, over everything else. Not crypto, not viral content, not the trendy thing of the moment. A boring, durable, cash-flowing business in an industry with verified demand. That is the template, and every single business on this list follows it. Let's start with the two that are growing fastest right now, both of them in fields that barely existed 5 years ago, both of them generating margins that most established businesses never see. Business 1, AI Operations Implementation Advisory. The global digital transformation consulting market hit $60 billion in 2025 and is projected to exceed $200 billion by 2035. Demand for AI literacy in corporate job postings has grown 7-fold in 2 years. Here's what this business actually looks like. You audit a company's internal workflows, you identify where they're wasting time on manual tasks, you integrate generative AI tools to automate those tasks, you run training programs so their employees actually know how to use what you installed. Startup cost, $3,000 to $15,000. Profit margins, 65 to 80%. Individual projects bill at $5,000 to $25,000. Monthly support retainers average $1,500 to $5,000. The demand driver is not excitement about technology, it is corporate terror. Mid-market executives are watching their competitors automate, and they don't know where to start. You become the person who knows. Business 2. Managed Security Service Provider. The global security services market reached $86 billion in 2025. U.S. information security roles are projected to grow 29% through 2034. You provide remote network monitoring, vulnerability assessments, and regulatory compliance auditing, HIPAA, SOC 2, PCI DSS, for small and mid-sized businesses that cannot afford a full-time security team. Startup cost, $10,000 to $30,000. Operating margins, 40 to 55%. Monthly retainers run $2,500 to $8,500 per client. Customer retention is extremely high because switching is expensive and painful for the client. The structural moat here is certification. Getting the licenses and credentials is real work. That work is exactly what keeps undercapitalized competitors out. Business 15. Custom Productivity Workflow Development. This one has the most unusual numbers on the entire list. Startup cost, $500 to $2,000. Profit margins, 90 to 95%. You build specialized databases, dashboards, and automated workflows using platforms like Notion, Airtable, and Excel, customized for specific industries: real estate syndicates, construction contractors, digital marketing agencies, corporate remote teams. Custom implementations bill at $2,500 to $15,000. Digital templates sell passively to a global market. Once built, the overhead is essentially zero. The risk is platform dependency, but the opportunity is immediate, low capital, and scalable from day one. Now, let's move to the category that the data loves most: the businesses serving physical, non-discretionary demand in the real economy. These are the ones nobody talks about. They are also the ones that keep surviving decade after decade. Business 3. Cash pay mobile physical therapy. The North American home healthcare market is projected to reach $285 billion by 2030. Healthcare and social assistance businesses have one of the highest 5-year survival rates of any sector in the BLS data. You deliver orthopedic rehabilitation, post-operative therapy, and geriatric fall prevention directly to patients at home or at their workplace. You bypass insurance entirely, cash pay only, billed at $150 to $250 per hour. Startup cost, $3,000 to $10,000. Net margins, 50 to 65%. The demand driver is demographic. 75% of adults aged 50 and older prioritize maintaining home-based healthcare to avoid nursing home transitions. That demographic is growing every year without exception. Business 4. Mobile pet grooming. 70% of U.S. households own a pet. 97% of pet owners consider their pet a family member. The U.S. pet grooming market is growing at 6.7% annually and projected to reach $2.99 billion by 2030. One single mobile grooming van completing 6 to 8 appointments daily generates $400 to $800 in daily revenue. One documented case study, Galaxy Grooming in Florida, accumulated 500 clients and 787 dogs with a single van, hitting $12,000 per month in revenue within 6 months of launch. Mobile services command a 20 to 40% premium over fixed salon locations, simply because of convenience. The startup cost of $40,000 to $110,000 is the highest barrier on the practical services side of this list, but the recurring client base that follows justifies it completely. Business 5. Structural pest control. Ants affect 90% of U.S. homes. Bedbugs affect 20%. Termites damage 600,000 homes per year and cost American homeowners approximately $5 billion annually. This is not discretionary spending. When your house has termites, you call. The U.S. pest control market was valued at $10.71 billion in 2024 and growing toward $13.82 billion by 2032. Startup cost, $15,000 to $40,000. Operating margins, 20 to 30%. The structural moat is state licensing. Getting the credentials is the barrier that keeps the market from being flooded with low-cost competition. Business 6. Commercial building and floor care. The global cleaning services market was valued at $442 billion in 2025 and growing towards $770 billion by 2033. You service corporate offices, medical spaces, and educational facilities with specialized floor restoration and deep cleaning equipment. Quick break-even, 1 to 2 months. Recurring annual maintenance contracts with institutional clients. Startup cost, as low as $5,000. The 15 to 35% margins are not spectacular, but the stability is exceptional. School districts, medical offices, and manufacturing facilities do not stop needing cleaning during recessions. Business 7. Home energy auditing and retrofitting. This one has a powerful external accelerant. The Inflation Reduction Act offers homeowners up to $3,200 in direct federal tax credits for energy efficiency upgrades. You conduct thermal audits, identify inefficiencies, and execute insulation and weatherization contracts. Initial audits bill at $300 to $1,000. The resulting retrofitting contracts generate $3,000 to $12,000 per project. Margins run 30 to 45%. Professional energy audits identify inefficiencies that save property owners 5 to 15% on annual utility costs, a direct, measurable result that sells itself. Business 9. Specialized medical equipment repair. This one is growing at 13% per year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Ultrasound machines, patient monitors, sterilization systems, outpatient clinics, and urgent care networks need this equipment running at all times. Billing rates run $100 to $250 per hour, with annual maintenance retainers on top. Startup cost, $10,000 to $35,000. Margins, 35% to 50%. The barrier here is technical certification and manufacturer-specific training. That same barrier is your moat once you clear it. Business 17. Building exterior care and pressure washing. The U.S. building exterior cleaners market reached $16.3 billion in 2026. Urban real estate turnover rates above 9% annually create continuous demand for curb appeal restoration. Residential cleanings average $300 to $1,200. Commercial projects generate $3,000 to $15,000. Startup cost, $4,000 to $15,000. One of the fastest paths to positive cash flow on this entire list. Now let's cover the professional advisory businesses, the ones with the highest margins of anything on this list, and the ones most closely aligned with the structural trends reshaping the American economy right now. Business 12. Fractional CFO advisory. Over 85% of small and family businesses require strategic cash flow management and tax planning, but cannot afford a full-time CFO earning $200,000 or more annually. You provide that function part-time, serving 5 to 8 clients simultaneously. Monthly retainers of $2,000 to $5,000 per client for 5 to 15 hours of advisory. Operating margins, 70 to 85%. Startup cost, $1,000 to $5,000. This is the highest margin professional service on this list, and one of the fastest to profitability, 1 to 2 months. The demand driver is macroeconomic volatility. When interest rates move and credit gets expensive, small businesses need expert financial guidance urgently. Business 16. Active trader tax advisory. On June 4th, 2026, FINRA eliminated the $25,000 minimum equity requirement for day trading. Millions of new retail traders immediately entered the market, each of them carrying complex tax liabilities they do not understand. The wash sale rule, Section 475 mark-to-market elections, Form 3115 accounting changes, these are genuinely complicated. A professional specializing in trader taxation bills $200 to $450 per hour with extremely high retention because annual filing complexity keeps clients coming back. Startup cost, $2,000 to $8,000. Margins, 45 to 60%. Timing advantage. The regulatory change that created this demand wave happened in 2026. The market is still being built. Business 18. Multifamily office administrative support. Multifamily offices collectively manage more than $5.2 trillion in assets globally. 75% pay bills for principals. 67% handle capital calls. Only 53% have formal succession plans. You provide specialized back-office administrative support, cash flow monitoring, entity management, PPLI compliance, capital call coordination for these offices. Monthly retainers run $5,000 to $15,000 per family. Startup cost, $12,000 to $35,000. The intergenerational wealth transfer of $124 trillion through 2048 is generating extraordinary demand for exactly this kind of operational support. Business 19. Precision Agricultural and Timberland Advisory. U.S. farmland has delivered a compound annual return of 10.15 to 10.45% over the long term, with a correlation to public equities of negative 0.26. Institutional capital is rotating into natural capital at an accelerating pace. You provide GIS-guided crop yield mapping, soil moisture monitoring, timber basis calculations, and long-term land management advisory. Cottonwood Ag Management, the firm managing Bill Gates' 242,000 acres of farmland, is the model. Startup cost, $8,000 to $25,000. Margins, 30 to 45%. The NCREIF Farmland Index represents $16 billion in tracked institutional assets. The Timberland Index represents $27.8 billion. The advisory infrastructure for those assets is still being built. Business 20. Litigation finance due diligence brokerage. The global litigation funding market was valued at $17.2 billion in 2025 and is projected to reach $48.6 billion by 2034, growing at 11.9% annually. You operate as an independent broker, identifying meritorious corporate and patent lawsuits, conducting due diligence, and connecting them with institutional funding networks. Origination commissions run 5 to 15% of funded amounts. Deployed capital targets 15 to 30% IRR. The structural risk is real. Proposed federal legislation includes a 40.8% excise tax on litigation proceeds. But even with that headwind, the demand for sophisticated case origination and due diligence is growing faster than the regulatory environment can contract it. Let's bring this together. 65% of businesses fail within 10 years. The ones that survive share a specific set of structural characteristics: recurring revenue, regulatory barriers to entry, non-discretionary demand, and physical asset backing. These businesses are not exciting. They are not going viral. Nobody is making inspirational content about pest control routes or medical equipment calibration. But the data does not care about excitement. It cares about survival, and these are the businesses that survive. The highest margins belong to the knowledge advisors, fractional CFOs at 70 to 85%, AI implementation consultants at 65 to 80%, productivity workflow developers at 90% to 95%. The most stable recurring revenue belongs to the physical service providers: pest control, commercial cleaning, building exterior care, mobile pet grooming. The fastest growing demand belongs to the emerging advisory niches: active trader tax consulting, multifamily office support, precision agricultural land advisory, litigation finance brokerage. And every single one of them requires something that a teenager with a laptop and a viral idea cannot replicate overnight: certification, licensing, specialized knowledge, physical equipment, established client relationships. That is the moat, and the moat is the business. But here's the question this video did not answer. Once you have built one of these businesses and it's generating real cash flow, what do you do with the profits? Because the self-made millionaires running these businesses are not depositing their profits into savings accounts. They're not buying luxury cars, and they're not putting everything into index funds and hoping for the best. They're deploying capital into the same structures the ultra-wealthy use: private farmland, litigation finance, private placement life insurance wrappers that compound their returns completely tax-free, art-secured lending that converts passive assets into working capital without triggering a single taxable event. The business is how you generate the cash. The structure is how you keep it and multiply it across generations. That's exactly what the next video maps out.